The Gobelins are coming! Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to two animated short films by the YouTube channel Gobelins. This is a donation reward for Venom, and today we are going to be checking out the animated short films for, let me see if I can get this here. Give me a second, apparently. Best Friend and Louise. These are two separate short films, both produced by the same channel. Best Friend came out in 2018, according to the title here, and Louise was 2021. So they're a few years apart, but that's going to give us an interesting look to see how maybe this channel has increased in terms of, I guess, maybe animation and whatnot over time. Now, I don't know anything about what to expect with either of these. I do know for the second one, Louise, I was specifically requested to turn on closed captioning for, so okay. Either it's going to be very hard to understand, I assume, or it's in another language, one or the other. Gobelins as a channel name doesn't give me any insight into that, because it just makes me think of goblins, you know. But the titles of these don't give me too much to think about either. Best Friend and Louise, it's like they're very generic. Best Friend is like, okay, I guess it's about a best friend. Okay, that tells me nothing. And Louise is just a name. So I guess it has to either do with or is starring a character named Louise. Again, I have nothing really to go off of. And I don't know this channel at all. Like, I don't know anything they've done otherwise. So I have no frame of reference for, like, the kind of content they put out. But I'm definitely interested to check out. And so you may also be wondering, why are we doing two? Well, because they're short films. Both of these short films are pretty short. Louise, for example, is only about 6 minutes long. So it's like, I feel like I could probably have done a video with just one of them. In fact, I know I could have. But I decided, you know what? We don't have One Piece this week for whatever reason. So let's just do two instead. But yeah, I otherwise don't know what to expect with these. I don't know what we're going to get. I'm hoping they're entertaining. I'm hoping maybe they have, like, good messages or themes, or are just maybe just really investing. Either way, yeah, I hope to enjoy them. Now, if I seem like at all like I seem like kind of like groggy, I guess is a good way to put it, or anything. For those who don't know, here in Michigan, we've been having a massive heat wave. Like, it's been like 90s in terms of Fahrenheit, just to specify that. We've been like in the 90s in Fahrenheit for like this past week, and like yesterday, for example, it like breached 100, which is insane. For those who might not like know Fahrenheit, that's really fucking hot. Let me see. Let me check real quick if I can figure that out, because I don't know how to convert Fahrenheit to having a brain fart. Sorry, I'm a dirty American. 100 degrees Celsius. I don't know why my mind was blanking on Celsius. So for those who want like a comparison, 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius is about 37.7 degrees Celsius. So, like, you know obviously what that means, but it basically just means it's super fucking hot. It's insane, and we've been having, like, temperatures, like, around this high, a little bit lower on average, but around this high for, like, practically a week, I would say. And it's insane. It's very hard to deal with for me because I don't do well in extreme temperatures, pretty much, cold or heat. If it's too cold outside, I genuinely have trouble breathing, and if it's too hot outside, I have trouble just kind of existing. That sounds weird, but just to explain it simply, it's like I get very, very lethargic and groggy and just like I kind of. It's almost like I disassociate if I'm out in the heat too much. It's like I kind of just like stop like responding and like thinking, and it's just like the heat like kind of like zombifies me, I guess you could say. I don't know how else to explain it. um it's pretty wild though, and yeah, it's just I have a hard time dealing with that. Like if I have like water or a fan or something, I can live with it better, but it's still just too much heat, and staying outside in too much heat is a lot for me. My ideal temperature, for example, is about 65 with a light wind. And just to reiterate, 65 in Fahrenheit is about 18.3 in Celsius. Um, just for anyone who is watching who might be like not in America. Because again, it's like I know I'm a filthy American. We use Fahrenheit and all. Um, Everywhere else uses like Celsius. It's like I understand we're the weird ones out here. Although, and again, it's mainly just because it's all I know. To me, Fahrenheit just makes more sense personally, but I understand that is from an American perspective. Um, but it's like 100 like feels like it makes more sense for a super hot day than like 37 to me. It's just like, oh, it's super hot out, the number should be super high. It just kind of like makes sense to me. And I've heard someone say before like Fahrenheit like is more logical like from a person perspective, and then Celsius is more logical from some other perspective. Or like I think it's weather in like terms of measuring like weather patterns. But in terms of like human understanding, Fahrenheit makes more sense and stuff. It's like it's just about perspective and how you look at it, I guess. Um, yeah, it's just it's a subjective dumb thing anyway. We understand the point either way. But yeah, so if I seem like kind of out of it, it's because of that. I have like the fan on a bit, but or the cooling on. See, I'm kind of out of it already. But it's like it's still like I still feel a bit of the heat. It's that hot outside. um so yeah. And I've just been kind of out of it lately because of that in general, especially after yesterday when I was outside um helping out at a pride event and everything. So yeah. it's it's hard, man. But I have a drink as I usually do, so hopefully I should be fine. Just wanted to warn you all just in case. But yeah, let's get into this and see what these short videos are about. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So these were two very different short films, and they both have a lot to say, clearly. But let's talk about it. So, first we have Best Friend. This is the one from 2018. And again, this one's basically just a Black Mirror episode. It's the same concept you see in Black Mirror episodes, the same kind of idea. You have some kind of like near future situation where people are able to get this implant in their head. Through the use of scanning the implant and gaining these eye drops, they're able to create these ocular visions of best friends. These kind of just, again, it's all visual. They can hear them, of course, but it's like basically all in their head. And they can party and dance and basically keep themselves from being alone. It's this very messed up kind of idea of like dependency on a false reality rather than, engaging with real people. It's absolutely the kind of thing Black Mirror would do. You have these people becoming obsessed with the connections, the relationships they're making through this product. And it shows kind of the dangers, the societal dangers specifically, of this kind of technology. And it's obviously the kind of like statement being made on the dumb, let's be honest, concept of people bitching about kids always being on their phones and their technology these days. It's a more harrowing like view of that kind of stupid idea. And I call it a stupid idea because like boomers and stuff bitching about like kids always being on their phones or younger generations always being on their phones these days is one of the dumbest things because it's rooted in a scare tactic that's just not really based in necessitative reality. Like they're saying like, oh, these kids would rather be on their phones than interact with others. It's like a lot of times they're interacting with others on their phones. Like, you don't know what they're doing. You're assuming so much. They could be planning a date with their partner. They could be planning an outing with their best friend. They could be texting their friend, like, who they're on their way to see, or a family member, or someone else. They could be doing something in relation to schoolwork, in relation to their job. You don't know. You just see them glued to their phone, and you automatically assume that they're doing nothing but, like, I don't know, scrolling through Twitter. You assume the worst. You assume that they're just doing nothing because they're not interacting with someone in person at that exact moment. It's a really stupid boomer complaint that I'm glad has become less common in, like, I don't know, the past decade or so. But it still exists and it's still dumb. But here, this is a completely different story. Because this is like a harrowing view of not just like people socially not connecting with others, but like to a very dangerous, like possibly life-threatening degree of addiction. You see how that one guy on the street who, mugged our main character for his implant was. You saw like how kind of almost feral he was. Because he was so addicted to the need for friends through this product rather than, engaging in social behavior. That he was willing to literally, like, rip it out of a person's head. Just to get that. And the dude ends up, in response, just gets a new one. Because he's so addicted to it himself that he can't live without it. And it's just like, that's like really sad. It's like, it's obviously touching on addiction to technology in general, but specifically, again, addiction to technology in lieu of having connections with other people. And I don't know if the writer and conceptualizer of this like was trying to make the kind of boomer statement of people are on their phones too much these days. I don't know if that was the intent, but it does come across very much like that. Um, like it's trying to be like some kind of like message against people being on their phones all the time, which again is just not like reasonable. Because in today's modern day and age, it's like phones are used for so much, they're kind of a necessity. And someone being on their phone all the time does not mean they're like just doing nothing. They could be doing so many important things with it. You don't know. So it's like it's just not a valid argument. But it again, I don't know if that was the intent, but it does feel like they're trying to make a statement on that. Um, but in general, it just comes across as like making a statement against like actual like intense addiction to this kind of stuff, like that level of it. And mind you, it's like some people literally use this kind of technology for their jobs, so it's like you have to take that into account too. It's just it's one of those situations that it's really hard to just like mock and look down on, because it's like it's such a necessary part of our society at this point, whether we want to admit it or not. And people do still absolutely hang out with others and spend time with others in real life. Trying to say like people don't like spend time with each other in reality anymore is just false. It's so actively demonstrably false. I see people hanging out all the time. In fact, I'm jealous that I'm one of those who can't. I'm like one of the few who just isn't able to do that because I can't drive and I just don't have way to get to hanging out with people. Plus, there's the money situation. I tend to not have a lot of money, and a lot of what pretty much anyone ever wants to do is stuff that involves money. So it's hard for me. But yeah, um, it's very interesting nonetheless, and again, it feels very much, even in its presentation, like a Black Mirror episode. And I mean that with positivity because I love Black Mirror. And then we had Luis. And this one I feel like actually has like a lot more it's trying to say outside of just the general addiction is bad and everything. Louise is about a French ballerina, according to the description, in 1895 at the Garnier Opera. And she owes her friends some money. And it's very clear the dancers here get extra money through, let's call it what it is, prostitution. And I looked at some of the comments. Apparently, people are saying that this was a common thing back in the ballet and everything, in like the 1800s ballet. Sexual exploitation of the dancers was unfortunately very common. Um, I didn't look through all the comments, so I don't know. Like, I didn't go into a lot of detail. I was just kind of skimming through to see what people were saying about this. But what I got from this, again, is that she owed her friend money. And again, they gained money by engaging with these rich suitors. And you could tell by her reaction when he was, engaging with her, that she has done this before and she's not thrilled with it, but does it like because she needs the money. It's not something she wants to do at all. You could tell she wasn't enjoying anything about it. Um, One interesting thing I noticed while watching, and that I did notice someone in the comments did bring up as well. Again, I didn't look into details with the comments, but I did like see it when scrolling through. But this is something I noticed while watching myself. When he's engaging with her, and I'm using this term to be nicer about it. Like, there's not a lot of nudity or anything shown, but the nudity is shown in the like dressing room instead. Like where they're, changing and everything. And the kind of place where like you see like when she's back in the dressing room, you see the other girl like lay her head on her and everything. And I was kind of like leaning against her and all. I was kind of taking that to mean like, oh, maybe they're actually together, and it was like this kind of secret relationship. After thinking about it, I don't think that's what it was at all. I think it was like a comforting kind of like closeness. Like they were, it's not like a friendship thing, because at the end there, especially when they were leaving and all, you saw her like get close to her again, and like like she was actively seeking out comfort. And it definitely seems to in actuality be that like these girls are there for each other, and that's why she was like, insistent on getting the money for her friend. They're there for each other. They're kind of their only comfort in this situation, because they're, again, the sexual exploitation and everything. um and so they're being there for each other while having to go through this. And it's interesting that the nudity is shown in the scene where we're kind of getting the more comfortable situation. They're being like shown as like being comforting for each other and being there for each other, and that's when the actual nudity is shown. Because nudity is often, especially in art, expressed as vulnerability. And there's a lot of art, whether movies or shorts like this, or just, paintings and stuff, where this vulnerability of nudity is shown a lot of times when someone is engaging in a vulnerable sexual act. But instead, it's used here to show that she's allowing herself to be vulnerable while she's with those who she can trust. But when engaging with this wealthy man who is using her for her body, it's like the only kind of vulnerability there is him partially disrobing her. The vulnerability there comes not from the like freedom of nudity, but from him like controlling her, basically. I mentioned how he was being very aggressive. He was being very controlling, very like pushing her around, and like very like strongly kind of controlling where her body moved and everything. It's two different kinds of vulnerability being shown here. It's a negative vulnerability with her being like commanded by him, I guess is a way to put it. But then you have more of the positive vulnerability, the ability to just, exist as yourself and all, when she's with those who she can actually trust and care about. And that's a really interesting like kind of duality with this short film. It showcases that kind of different view of it. And also we have like kind of already this information that Louise is very small too, so there's also an added vulnerability from her size, because The ballet shoes, she was talking about those being too big for her, right? Um, and we saw like at multiple points she seemed to be like visually smaller than others around her, both this guy and even other girls around her and stuff. She was visually smaller than them. So it's like it's meant to create this like this kind of view of vulnerability. That's definitely a core theme of it. And it's trying to like make you obviously feel bad for her for what's going on and what she's being or what she feels she's being forced to do to make this all work and all. It's good that she does have people that she can feel comfortable about around and can feel safe around. And it's like that definitely helps in a situation like this, I feel. Thankfully, I've never been in a situation like this, so I can't speak from experience. Um, but from like stories I've heard and read about and everything, it's like that's kind of the one like saving grace that you would have to be able to hope for in that kind of situation. That there's someone looking out for you, someone who has your back. Just anything, any level of positive connection like that. Because I can only imagine how like horrific and just repulsive that entire kind of situation would be if you didn't have someone watching out for you. The only kind of like slightly positive like view I can see on it is at least it's consensual. Like they're not being assaulted, but it is like sexual manipulation nonetheless. They are being tempted with money and probably other stuff too, probably jewelry or maybe like new ballet gear or I mean the one girl had the macarons, probably sweet treats and stuff too. It's like it's absolutely still fucked up. It's definitely manipulation. It's not okay. But at least it's not rape. Let's just say the word. It's not rape. And it could be. And you absolutely know that that kind of shit did happen. So it's like it's it's bad. It's really bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. And I'm not trying to like just compare like traumas and issues like that. It's just it's still very bad and still deserves to be taken extremely seriously. It's just yeah, I was really worried that it could have gone even worse. um but both of these short films definitely had plenty to say, and they were both very different in terms of style as well. Like the visual style of them like didn't really look anything like the other, and I like that. I like that they were like super different because it's like it allows. I don't know if Gobelins is like a group, like I don't know, Glitch, or if it's like a specific single creator. I don't know. Um, but they do have like credits, and let me look in the credits here, for example. Apparently, like the directors for Louise are Constant Berthaud, Camille Bozek, Pauline Guiton, Pauline Mauvier, and Mila Monahan. So there's a bunch of directors for that. Let me check Best Friend. Nicholas Olivieri, Shen Yi, Juliana DeLuca, Varun Nair, and David Fila. Okay, so none of the same directors at all. So yeah, I think it's just like a group. I think Gobelins is like a group. There's a probably they're probably like kind of a distributor of sorts. They probably work with these different animators and directors and writers and help put out their work, sort of like how what Glitch does. It's probably a similar situation, and based on like the names and the the descriptions here, I think it's like probably a French company, or maybe French Canadian at least. Apparently, Best Friend did win an award though for the best student film in View Conference 2018. So I guess this was a student film too, which is really impressive. Like, again, for something that is like so like similar to Black Mirror, but like really well done as well. I'm not seeing any award listing in the description for Luis comparatively. There's just a lot of production, distribution credits, soundtrack credits, but I'm not seeing anything otherwise. Out of these two, I think I personally like preferred Best Friend because again, it reminded me of Black Mirror, which is a very positive thing because I love Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror is a fantastic series. And so it's like anything that kind of reminds me of that thematically is definitely kind of on my wavelength. Louise, I noted that Louise felt a little incomplete. Like there was like maybe some context missing or something, but I think that was kind of the point. I think you're supposed to take a little bit from it and try to like piece things together to like realize exactly what's going on. And it's a short film. It's not meant to be like a full big story. It's like confining a story into a short medium as a way of like getting a theme across and stuff, which is still gotten across really well. And I'm not by any means dissing on Luis here. I think it was still a fantastic short film. I just personally liked Best Friend better. It's like I have a preference and I'm allowed to. um, but yeah, they were very, very different. And again, I liked that. I liked that they weren't just the same thing. So that all being said, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these two short films from the channel Gobelins? And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.